This is weird. This is the Canaanite god, also later known as a demon figure Baal. And in Iran, they put the statue together to burn it in defiance while showing the Star of David on its head and the Israel flag and chanting death to Israel. There's a reason this is happening now, and it's happening following the release of the Epstein files. Also, because of the fact that there was a document with the word Baal written on it in the Epstein files that I'm going to also show you in a bit. Some people question whether or not it's actually referencing this demon figure. So, Iranian protesters burned an effigy labeled Baal, shown with the Star of David and Israel's flag while chanting death to Israel. Let me play the audio so you guys can hear this as well. Here we go. It's weird, and if you actually look, it says Baal right there, and you can see the Star of David on its head, and the whole 9 yards, and you see a pentagram below its legs. So there you have it. And for if you're interested, this used to be a Canaanite god back in the back prior to the Abrahamic religions. The Canaanites living in the Levant area, they had this god, and Yahweh, the God of Abraham, it was written in the Bible that they were they were antagonized to each other. Or sorry, the God of Abraham, they viewed Baal as the enemy. Right, Baal was viewed as the enemy. Anyways, now it's very much so viewed as a demonic figure in the kingdom of hell. I was really deep diving into this, and I'm like, so what started off as a Canaanite god then quickly has now morphed over thousands of years into this very demonic figure, that's used in occult-like practices, or that's prayed to in occult-like practices. Child sacrifices, really disgusting stuff was going on while praising this bull-like god figure. Now, why does it relate to Jeffrey Epstein? Well, let me go ahead and share my screen here and show you guys this. This is why it relates to Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm going to let you guys honestly decide what you think, because some people are saying, no, that's a misspelling. I think that's an over exaggeration. It really has nothing to do with that. And what we're looking at here, let me actually orient it so you guys can see it better, is there's a wire transfer being done. And it's a bank account that Jeffrey Epstein has. And in the bank account name is listed as Baal. Let me actually zoom in so that way you guys can see that. Some people are saying, oh, well, maybe that's just a misspelling. There we go. Please wire $11,438 to blank from the above account, to, and then the first thing we see there is it says Baal, and then it goes on and it says it says name Wachovia Bank NA. So here's the thing. Some people, and I was looking at this, I was doing a deep dive on this online. People that really don't believe this say, no, Baal is just a misspelling of the word bank. Well, I mean, I have a keyboard right in front of me, and you could misspell maybe the N and M, but you're not going to misspell, the letters are too far apart for you to misspell bank as Baal. That's the first thing. So I don't really, I think that doesn't make sense. Also, if you look at the way it's written, it says account to, and then it's like he clicks the shift key and it goes down, and it seems like it's account to Baal, name of the bank, routing number, and everything else. So he still has the colon on account to, so it seems like that account to is named Baal. Now, regardless of whether or not what's the reasoning behind that, is it to this demon like god deity? Conspiracy theories, and people are really starting to go out there and say, like, a lot of people are really in belief that this is the case, and I'm going to leave that up to you guys to decide. After this was done is when we started to see this burning in Iran, of course, with Israel with the Israeli flag and the Star of David. And this is kind of what we're seeing now. People on social media are praising the event, stating that it's great, because nobody's gonna be praising some sort of demon. It's great that they're burning this. It shows that Iran really has, their head in the right place. They're doing this versus, the West is kind of bought out by Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just listening to you guys what I'm seeing online. Let me go here and show you guys some more. I think the whole thing is just very interesting to me. Iranian protesters, I already read that to you guys. Here's another photo from a different version. Second Baal just burned down in Iran, Esfahan. This is crazy. Thank you, Iran. Visuals continue to emerge. This is, I mean, honestly, they really took the time to do this. This is a weird thing, demon burning day. So they really have this done well, and you see the Star of David and the pentagram as well, with the Iranian flags, and you see Netanyahu's face. You see the pyramid with the eye, the big eye, and then you see the Star of David at the very top of this column. You see the Star of David around the all-seeing eye. That's the word I was looking for, and they're lighting the whole thing on fire. So they really, oh wow, they have another photo here burning this thing. And then of course they have the hourglass with the Star of David inside. So I mean, they're really going at it. Iranians are burning the statue of Baal on the anniversary of the Islamic Revolution. Baal is an ancient Israeli god and a symbolism of Satan in modern times. And there you go. And that's what everybody's saying. Let me know what you guys think in the comments regarding specifically Jeffrey Epstein's connections to this. I'm seeing it, I find it interesting, I guess. I'm not really sure. I'm also going to be doing some videos here in a little bit regarding Jeffrey Epstein's connections with this whole beef jerky thing that everybody's talking about, and whether or not beef jerky is code word for something more sinister, and also what's up with Jeffrey Epstein buying all of this sulfuric acid. I'm just going to explain to you guys what everybody is saying online, what they really believe is going on. Here's another thing that I find so interesting, and Candace Owens actually recently started talking about Baal as well. She started bringing it up recently when mentioning the Star of David and saying, why does the Star of David have these sort of origins? This is a lot of like mysticism, occulty stuff. Baal worship is really not going on nowadays mainstream at all. It very much so is some sort of occult like practice, mysticism, that sort of thing. I think it's very freaky. I try to stay away from that. I don't really associate with people that do that sort of weird stuff. I think most of us don't, anyways. So, what the Epstein files did show, though, is that now when we're reading them and people are seeing all this sinister stuff, even aside from this occulty stuff, whether or not you believe in people actually doing that, there's a lot of very sinister stuff happening in the Epstein files without even touching that. The way that they mistreated the women, the way they mistreated the children. So when you start to open your eyes and you see this, no wonder people are really starting to speculate a lot, because you're like, well, if they're willing to do this to children, then what aren't they willing to do? If they're willing to do this to children, then who's to say they aren't the same people that are willing to pray to Satan? Genuinely, I feel like that's kind of where people's minds are going, because ultimately what has just happened with the release of these files is that a door has been opened and people are starting to recognize this is disgusting, this is corrupt, and I don't know where their boundaries lie. It doesn't seem like they have boundaries. And for people that don't seem like they have boundaries, well, then why wouldn't they practice some sort of occult like stuff? What would be the reasoning? Maybe because they just don't believe in it and they think it's weird. Okay. Or maybe they really have no boundaries and they're willing to do anything. That's up for you. That's up to you to decide. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, if you found this video interesting, I'd appreciate it if you click the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up as well. It helps me reach more people.